This is Meagan Fitton with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning for this Wednesday, the 28th of November. The members of the new Labor government begin arriving in Canberra later today in preparation for tomorrow's first caucus meeting. The Prime Minister-elect, Kevin Rudd, will reveal tomorrow which ministers he has chosen to make up his front bench. Mr Rudd is determined to handpick the ministers. Last night he reiterated his intentions to strip the factions of any role in the selection process, but this afternoon both left and right factions will still meet in Canberra. Labor caucus members accept that Mr Rudd is picking the front bench, but there is concern that they will also lose their traditional role in choosing other positions, including Speaker and Senate President. The new Prime Minister has started making demands on caucus, instructing them to visit both a public and private school in their electorate by the end of this week. Following the passing of Bernie Banton yesterday, a ceremony is to be held in Sydney today to officially name an asbestos disease research centre after the campaigner. The $12 million Bernie Banton Centre is being built at Sydney's Concord Hospital and will open late next year. It will be the world's first dedicated asbestos research facility. Mr Banton was being treated at Concord Hospital until he returned home at the weekend to spend his final days with his family. New South Wales Premier Maurice Yemma will be joined at the naming ceremony by former Premier Bob Carr, who is now the chairman of the Asbestos Disease Research Foundation. Mr Carr says it is fitting that the centre will be named after Bernie Banton. A state funeral will be held for Mr Banton next Wednesday at the Sydney Superdome at Homebush. The service will be open to the public. Welcome to Sexment, your regular segment about sex. Now, if you have just stumbled onto 107.9 Radio Fremantle, I should let you know that what you are about to hear is explicitly sexual in nature. Today in Sexment, I'll be talking with Sandra Adams from adultshop.com about oral sex.
18. NSA HQ, Fort Meade, Maryland. McCorkle followed Dunn into the supercomputing wing of the NSA headquarters. The noise inside the double-walled concrete building was an electrical buzz that sounded like a billion bees, and the air carried the electrical smell that came from having the world's biggest and most powerful computers in a controlled airspace. The basement here has its own power plant working parallel to the Maryland supply to maintain the cooling power needed by the machines.
Chapter 2. I was born in July. For a kid, that's good news and bad. Since my summers were all spent at the Lee family beach house on Pawleys Island, my birthdays were celebrated with a picnic, then an excursion to Gay Dolphin Park on the Myrtle Beach boardwalk. I loved those amusement park outings, especially the Wild Mouse ride, white-knuckling up, down, and around narrow tracks, heart-banging, cotton candy rising in my throat. Good stuff.
Edge Adventure Tours can show you the exciting side to Vanuatu. You were the first producer of coconut oil to put it in automobiles in Vanuatu. What sort of comments did you get from people before you actually had the cars running on it?
Well, not very many comments before, because people saw the vehicles running before we told anybody what we were doing. I had watched other people running diesel generator sets, Mr. Ken Calvert from Tanner, Reverend Ken Calvert, and Keith Barlow, who had an oil mill, used to use any of his poor quality coconut oil in his generator sets up there, and I think at one stage he even had a boat running with it. So I wasn't the first person to use it, and I believe Ralph Diesel originally designed his diesel engine around running them on peanut oil. So yeah, we knew that the diesel engines could run on vegetable oil. It was just a matter of making sure it was clean enough and then trying to make it accessible so people could use it.
What hurdles do you see yourself having to actually overcome in order to get the main percentage of drivers filling up on your coconut fuel?
One of our main hurdles is that coconut oil actually has a very high amount of cleansing agent in it, and it tends to clean out the fuel tanks of all the vehicles. Now, if the vehicle's been running for a long time with dieseline in it, it's collected over the years quite a bit of sludge and dirt from the dieseline over the years, and this sort of breaks up, and the coconut oil picks it up, and then it carries it into the fuel filters and it blocks up the fuel filters.